Let's go to Michael Kroger, Stephen Conroy with us. Stephen, Andrew Clennell described the Teal incursion in this particular election as something like the Democrats. A number of lower house seats going in the way of those Teal independents.
Well, absolutely. I mean, at this stage, they look like they could win the 5 that they've really targeted, which would be an extraordinary outcome. I accept Michael's point. Josh has got an incredible profile. He spent an enormous amount of money, probably an Australian record, $3.5 million plus, as people talk about.
Oh, no.
And
nothing like it.
And so, yeah, it's extraordinary to see that happening. But at this stage, Labor could possibly win 4 to 6. We've got Boothby, we're narrowly, I think, ahead in. We've had a good report out of Swan. If we've got a good report in Swan, we've hopefully got in Pearce, we've probably got a good report to come in Swan yet, but there's no figures. So you can potentially add 3 to Labor's 4 at the moment. And I'm taking into account, as I said before, Terry Butler was to lose, terrible for the Labor Party. So the 5 we have is 4. Then there's still Lyons and a couple of others like Gilmore that are too close to call, Fowler. They're all possible Labor losses, which could reduce our advance to a very small number. But I'm still saying it's too close to call and too early to make those predictions for us. But clearly the government will not be forming, the Liberal National Party will not be forming government after after today.
Factor in as well on top of that the couple of Perth seats as well, don't you?
Absolutely. As I said, we've got to minimise our losses. Those 3 that are too close to call, and then we've got to win Boothby, Pearce, and Swan, and then you're in the territory where we could sneak across 76 to 77.
I just wonder if you're being a bit pessimistic here in the numbers that I'm seeing. I mean, I sort of see, and I think Joel might be on the same page here, I'm sort of seeing Boothby, Reid, Robertson, Chisholm, Brisbane, maybe Deakin,
maybe Sturt,
and then Pearce and Swan. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, but we're in danger of potentially losing 3. We possibly won't pick up Brisbane because the Greens might pick up Brisbane. So that's why if I'm being, it's not being pessimistic, I'm just being cautious. I think there's a pathway for us to get to 76 there, but I think it's just a bit too early. We've still got a big dump of votes that could see 100 to the Greens in Brisbane or 500 to us in pre-poll. So that's the reason I'm being cautious, not pessimistic.
You believe in the Albanese camp that pre-polls will go their way and improve their position?
Joel, is that your view?
Yeah, that's my view. I made the point earlier that the polls tightened as we moved towards election day, and a lot of people voted well before election day in record numbers. So all those, if the polls are correct on the tightening, all those who voted earlier were more likely to be voting for the Labor Party.
Let's bring in Michael Kroger now for his thoughts on where this is all at. Because, Michael, if the coalition, well, it looks like there's no majority, but the likely potential loss now of the Treasurer, it takes a terrible night into disaster territory.
Well, that is a disaster. Let's not sugarcoat it. If Josh Frydenberg leads, that is a disaster. But I must say his primary vote is increasing as we speak, and so is Katie Allen's in Higgins. She's gone from 36.5 to 38 in the last half hour, and Josh has gone up 0.5% too. So they're still behind, but their primary vote is increasing. Look, if Frydenberg leaves, that is a disaster for the Liberal Party. Let's be frank about it. He's a future Prime Minister. He's one of the... Boy, I have him in rarefied air of the great Liberals I've ever known, not only as a politician but as a human being. The type Frydenberg people see, that's him. He is a genuine, decent, honest, highly gifted, highly intelligent, outstanding human being. And if there's no place for Josh Frydenberg, as I said, the country is poorer for that. But Kieran, as I've said to you for 6 months now, fourth terms are hard to win. You have to prove to the electorate there are 3 urgent reasons why you need to get another 3 to do what you haven't done in the last 9. And the problem, the Liberal Party's got 2 big problems in Victoria. First of all, we haven't had the federal leader here since 1990. Now, I remember that election well. I was president of the party at the time. Andrew Peacock was the leader. We won 9 seats in one state on one day. It was our best ever performance. People said to me, oh, what a great job I did. I said, no, nothing to do with me, mate. Ring Andrew Peacock and thank John Cain, because it was all the politicians that did it and they did a great job. But Victorians feel they're a bit of a branch office of New South Wales. We've had this long rivalry with New South Wales, which still exists. Victorians think they're run, the whole country's run out of New South Wales, and they don't particularly like it. And the second problem we've got, as I said earlier on, is, with great respect, and everyone thinks they're an expert, we all do, that's why we're on this panel, good management is not terribly inspirational to your base. You know, to say, you know, we've got better economic management than the other mob, it's not terribly inspirational. It doesn't get people into the streets. It doesn't excite your base. It allows the fringes on the right to grow when we're not standing up for things that we should be standing up for. Just imagine if the Prime Minister had said this: we will change the law in this country so that no Australian will ever be denied the right to practice their religion again, pandemic or no pandemic. In this country, freedom of religion is one of our great cornerstones of our democratic society. If you'd said that, if Scott had said that, or the team had said that no one will ever be prohibited from practicing their religion. We had Jewish worshippers here in Victoria. You might remember the photographs, the film of them, climbing over roofs to escape being arrested by the Victoria Police for trying to practice their religion. If the team had said that federally, that will never, ever happen again in this country. We'll override the states. We'll pass whatever laws we need to protect that right. That would have energised the whole country towards Scott Morrison. If we'd had a royal commission into deregulation, because people say, what do you stand for? Well, we've talked about deregulation for decades. Every Liberal Party meeting I've been to, and I'm sure everyone Peter Credlin's been to, they always get up and say, we've got to deregulate. Small business are being strangled. Nothing much is done about it. Josh was the last person to do something, etc.
Michael Kroger, Stephen Conroy, we will be back to you in just a moment.